people. I got a lot of people want to be an adjuster, the life of adjuster, things that they need to do, prepare themselves, and just be ready for it. 'Cause I know I used to go manage sites, and you have some claim adjuster come on the site without a ladder.
Yeah, I know, right? How are you
Like, what
doing
are you
the
doing? Yeah,
inspection?
yeah. So,
That's
but
absolutely true. Okay, so you got Paramount Roofing, but you're Otis, so we got a few people watching in. Got our hot coffee or hot water, trying to stay warm out there. I am going to be doing these lives on the 10th, the 20th, and the 30th of each month. Going to try to keep it to 45 minutes. It's not going to be re-recorded or re-released, so if you miss a minute, you miss a lot. But put your questions in now. We have time for 4 questions from the audience. So as I mentioned, I'm only going to go for 45 minutes. My name is Ebahi. Welcome to a very lucrative industry, lucrative career. If I can help you make money in it, would you let me? So a couple of housekeeping rules. If you want your name to be shown when typing on Facebook, you got to like give it permission. But you could just go to YouTube now and type in my username and put your questions in there. They will start to pop up. I can show you an example real quick of how that would look. Yep, somebody else put hi. Okay. Um, Thank you so much for that. So while you're typing your questions, do want to teach you guys a little something while you're typing. But we also have Otis here. Otis worked 10 years as an insurance adjuster
yes,
and has transitioned since. So we're going to ask him some questions. And I have some questions of my own and some stories because we were also want to hear the stories of just like what was it like? Because if you think 10 years, that was like pre-COVID, not only pre-COVID, but pre a lot of probably like technologies too.
yes.
I do have some former students, everybody who have been very successful though, from either coming to me for field training, working with people I set up with, like somebody like Otis himself too. Right now I have Taj. He was a college student. He paid me a small fee to show him how to get in this, how take me up on roofs. Let me show me how to do a scope, show me how to do a sketch. So he started working claims with no experience, and he hasn't really been beat down by like mental management yet, just because like he's still a college student, but he's working very well inside the insurance industry. So he got his foot in the door, and also had Marion. She didn't have any experience, but she's probably making about the median pay now. Otis, what do you think the median pay is for adjusters? And audience, you guys can guess too.
So the median pay, I think, for an
Median,
adjuster,
yeah, median.
uh, I think what 60,000.
Hmm.
But if you really, I tell you this, my first year I made 115 because I fully dedicated myself, right?
Okay.
So uh, I didn't have a B plan.
Okay.
When I jumped into it, that was my ABCD plan. So my first assignment, they took me to Chicago, Illinois, and I worked BUSDs, backup and sewer claims. I
Okay.
did that for a month. It really taught me how to write estimates and be detailed with my scopes because dealing with backup and sewers is a lot of line items, right?
Uh-huh.
So, but then right after that, I put an impression with my firm, and they really liked me because you got to hustle as an independent adjuster, and they sent me to Amarillo, Texas.
Okay.
So, and I stayed there for a year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Wow. So, and that's what when I was getting into the industry, that's what I heard a lot of, that you got on the deployment and it lasted
yeah,
for a year or 18 months or 9 months. My
yeah,
first deployment barely got off the ground. They sent us home after like 36 hours. Really, by the end of that first day, they were telling us it's not going to be enough work
yeah.
available. So that's kind of like the more modern times, I guess. But did you have any experience? Like, how'd you even find out about the career?
So the way I found out, I had a one of my good buddies who I also played ball with is Sam Young. So he went to school in Illinois,
Okay.
where State Farm headquarters is at, Bloomington, actually Bloomington, Illinois. So he had an internship. He knew about the claim adjuster. And once he was finished playing ball, I could tell. I met up with him probably 4 or 5 years later, and he was still living a good life.
Okay.
And I asked him what he was doing. He told me and explained what was going on. And he asked me to come to Franklin, Kentucky. It was an ice storm. He said,
Okay.
"Come to Franklin, Kentucky, ride with me for about 4 or 5 days and see do you like it." Initially, I said, I like it, but I don't think I could do this type of work.
Hmm.
And I delayed it for 6 years.
Uh-huh.
And 6 years later, I called him back, like, "You still doing that claim adjust?" He said, "Yeah." And he gave me all the directions to take the courses and the classes, and I jumped on it the same day and never looked back.
Right, right. Yeah, someone was trying to she kept telling me, come on come on over here and work these claims, it's insurance. I'm like, what is it? What exactly will I be doing?
Yeah,
And she kept telling me, yeah, come over, it's with State Farm. And I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna try to sell insurance. And she kept
yeah,
talking, and I just kind of pushed it off because I was just finished a project with Google Maps, and she worked with me on it. But I was just like, I kind of want to do an entrepreneurial thing.
mm,
So then once she kind of like showed me what she was making, and then I was like, oh, okay, well, I could make that. And then I started studying the license. It was kind of that information on the license that was like, oh, okay, now I understand insurance. Now I can kind of play in this field,
yeah.
which I didn't understand before. So where did you get your initial license through, Otis?
So I went down to Houston, Texas, with Eric Wright,
Okay.
and I took the course. It was like a crash course, 7 days, and it really just gave you the basics, skim through what you need to know, learn, and you got your certification within 6 or 7 days. But the hard thing was getting that State Farm license. So
Yeah.
yeah. So once
Yeah.
I got with Worley prepped us. We had to take a bunch of courses. I went up there several times to take courses, and I took my State Farm certification with them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I failed my State Farm certification the first time. It was a little
Yeah,
tricky with
it's
that math.
it's like a 75% failure rate, right?
It
Something like
is.
that. Yeah,
How much was that 7 day course that you took?
like $600, $699.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
7 day crash course, 600.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not too bad at all
No.
for what you're doing. So and then you worked it for 10 years. You worked hurricanes, dailies, all over the country.
Yeah. So
So go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, like you said, dailies, large loss. I worked large loss. I was actually a trainer and also a manager where I manage when the hurricane sites. So I have probably about 30, 15 to 30 new adjusters under me and teaching them stuff like that. Yeah. Towards the end of my career. Towards the end of my career.
Okay, good. And so towards the end of your career, what happened? You actually changed careers. What was the sequence of events that led you to changing?
Well, I always was curious with the roofing side because we write the estimates. So I'm saying I'm writing $30,000 estimates for a roof, but I never put two and two together on what's their net profit on after materials and labor. But the thing was, when I started the industry, I was single, no kids, and now I'm married with 2 kids. So I was like, I can't be on the road for 9, 10 months out the year anymore, right?
Right,
So
right.
once I got my 2 year old, when he came, I just made the decision with my wife and told her, look, I'm thinking about opening up a roofing company because I don't want to hit the road anymore.
Uh-huh.
And she gave me the thumbs up, and I went with it.
Awesome, awesome. So
Yeah.
now how is your claim capacity now that you're working it from the roofing side?
Yeah, so by me having a background as a claim adjuster, especially for so many years, and the knowledge that I absorbed through those 10 years, uh, I think it catapulted my company because what I learned that most contractors they struggle with talking with the insurance adjuster, or they
Mhm.
struggle with writing supplements or reconciling the claim with the adjuster. They just want to argue, you never want to argue with the adjuster. They got the golden key, right? So you don't want to
Right.
argue with them. So, and then I also, as a roofer, I know I can't talk about the policy, but I can talk facts. You right? So without me arguing, I could talk facts to them. They looking at me like, dang, how he know this? And I
Uh-huh.
know how to write the reports. I know what they look for. So it really helped out, Paramount Roofing out tremendously. My first year in business, we did 1.5 million. So
Nice.
yeah,
Oh, wow. That's I mean, I worked with Best Choice Roofing. That's about what their office made too. So, I mean,
yeah,
it's a lot of work out there,
yeah,
for roofers. And That's really amazing that you were able to do 1.5 million that
yeah,
first year. Now, with your reports you mentioned, is that Exactimate that you're speaking of?
yeah, exactly, mate.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I write everything exactly, mate, when I'm dealing with the insurance company, right? And uh, and then I just don't when I write my estimates, I also write paragraphs, like I'm writing like as an adjuster would do, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then I put all my F9 notes in there, and I put photos to back everything, and that's what I think a lot of contractors uh, really struggle at.
Yeah, and you learned Exactimate while you were a IA?
Yeah, so so the thing is, I learned exactly, mate. Once they told me when I was in that class, they said if you want to make money, because everybody thought you got to know the policy to make money. They
Okay.
said if you really want to make money in this industry, you learn Exactimate like the back of your hand. And
Okay.
that stuck and resonated with me.
Okay.
So they told me that I could call Exactimate, and you could get a month of free subscription,
Right.
and you could keep renewing that free subscription every month.
Right.
So yeah, so what I did, I called, and what I did, I set up little simulations at my house. I got a house, a kitchen fire, so
Yep.
I sketched my whole first level, right? But I time myself.
Mhm.
And what I used to do also, I used to get a notebook and I used to write the codes 100 times, each code 100 times, each code 100 times. I did that almost every day until I got caught out. So people wonder, like, how can you spit out codes in the back of your head?
Wow.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't have a plan B.
Right.
So when I was a manager, the guys would come to me, I need help with this, and I say, look, get ready to type, and I just start spitting the codes out to them. Boom, boom, boom,
Okay.
boom. Yeah.
Right, right. And the codes are like the RFG, or like,
240,
yeah.
RFG, FELT, DRY, one and a half, ELS, dish,
That's
all of that.
tremendous, though. You have to be the first person to have mentioned that to me, that they wrote down each and every single code for Exactimate. We do have a nice little audience here. I just want to take a second to just remind everybody we're going to have time for about to answer 4 questions. So please go ahead, type your questions in. We're talking to Otis. I didn't. What's your last name, Otis?
Floyd, Otis Floyd.
Otis Floyd. I knew it was like 2 first names. So
Yeah.
we're talking to Otis Floyd. He's an adjuster for was an adjuster for over 10 years, working on the carrier side. Now he's still working claims, but now he's working towards the benefit of the homeowner, essentially. And
Yeah.
he is hiring. And from I'm so shocked. Like your Exactimate Plus, people, I like policy because I'm a public adjuster. So policy is where I definitely, that's my like superpower, and the insurance company's kryptonite at times.
Yes.
And then Exactimate, sometimes they try to use, incorrectly. I actually got a really big reply back from an adjuster. He's like, oh no, this code is already with the pain. It's already accounted for in this line item. So it's a lot that I have to go through. It was a really good move that they made to kind of uh, uh, drown me in a little bit of work
Yeah.
on that. So let me see here. So in your opinion, if somebody was wanting to get into adjusting now,
Hmm.
what are some of the skills would you say they would need?
Right now,
Yeah, because you
All
meet
right.
adjusters, right? I mean, because you go against them all the time.
Right now, they just need a heartbeat. It's different now, right? At first, it was hard to get into the industry. It
Okay.
was a well kept secret, right?
Yeah.
So when I got into it, it was a well kept secret that you could be in a claim adjuster and make this amount of money.
Right.
Now, since I think Harvey and Irma hit,
Yep.
everything went to social media because that was the first two big storms or hurricanes since I got into the industry, right? So
Okay.
everybody was saying, we waiting for the big hurricane. And
Okay.
it took like 7, 8 years for me in the industry. And then social media just blew up then. So everything was on Facebook,
Okay.
everything was on Instagram. And we was getting guys who was working at Domino's 24 hours and said, now they got their adjuster's license and they got
Right.
called out. So actually right now, really you just need a will. If you really want to do it, get some training, and but just be persistent. I think that's where a lot of people fall off in this industry because they get impatient because it might take a while for you to get called out and
Yep.
then they end up doing something else.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
a lot of people are looking at it to be like a get rich quick system for themselves, with
Yeah.
versus like making it a trade. Because to me, it's like a trade. It's like an electrician. It's
Yeah.
like plumbers. It's like HVAC. And if you look on the BLS, which is the Bureau of Labor Statistics website,
Yeah.
um, adjusters make more on their median pay than plumbers, more than electricians, more than real estate agents. So it's really like that. But people hear, so much an hour. People hear,
Yeah.
and yes, I have gotten paid 5 figures on a single claim before,
Yeah.
but you don't do that the first night, and you could do it fast, but
Yeah.
like you said, Otis, you have to be incredibly dedicated. Me myself, I went into it like, this is it. I borrowed money, you know what I mean, because I knew, I was like, nah, this is it right here. This is when I was looking for something entrepreneurial. I was looking for something that people didn't really pay attention to. Once you get in the industry, it seems like everybody's talking about it, but
Yeah.
people don't think about insurance. How many real estate agents have you ran into, Otis, don't even know the roof could be covered by,
Man,
the insurance policy? Like, homeowners just don't know.
they don't know. I'm gonna tell you this. A lot of agents don't know the policy.
Man, they don't. Oh, not even close.
Yeah. They know
Not
how
even
to sell
close.
the policy, but they don't know the policy. I was shocked where I had a claim on. I'm not gonna say the insurance name, but it was at an insurance agent's office.
Okay,
And I had to
right.
tell her what was covered, what wasn't covered, and she was like, "Why is this not covered?" I'm like, "How you don't know this is not covered?" And you use it. And I learned real quick. They know how to sell a package. They don't know the policy.
Exactly. In fact, sometimes I'm like, I'll call the agent and I'll say, "Can you send me the policy? I get the deck page." They say,
Yeah,
"Oh, that's the same."
yeah.
No, it's not. It's
No,
not
it's
even.
not the same.
It's
Yeah,
not even close. The deck page is 4 pages. I'm looking for like a 50-page document.
yeah,
So like I mentioned earlier, everybody, we'll get to your questions. Just type them in. We're talking to Otis. He is hiring, so we want to learn more about his company and who he has working for him. I started as a roofing rep. I think they may have called it like a claims specialist. They're a little bit hard on that side of it. But
hmm,
I started learning from roofers and getting up on the roof and putting in sweat equity, which I find it's like an 80-20 rule. 20% of the people are going to put in a lot of work. 80% of the people are going to want the work to come to them. And you just
yeah,
don't make that much money when you being told what to learn, when you being driven, because the managers and things, they got their own. I mean, if you work at some of these carriers, just to close a claim, it's like a 30-minute process, 30-40 minutes of just clicking that, putting it here, making the note about that you clicked and put here. It'd be like
yeah.
that.
I'm gonna tell you this. When I
Hmm.
went to Chicago for my first storm,
Hmm.
I went broke. I
Yeah.
went flat broke because the money that I did have, I had set aside. By that time I had to pay the bills back at the home at my house. And I couldn't close any claims. So
Right.
you don't close the claims. Back then they didn't have a such thing as hourly. There was
Okay.
no hourly rate. It was you was on component or with backup and sewer, everybody was on component, right?
Okay.
We didn't have a hourly, so it was like if you don't close the claim, you don't get paid. So it
Dang.
took me a whole 30 days for my claims to start closing, and by the
Right.
time I was finished, I barely had enough gas money to make it home.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, some of these deployments, if you're not there 6 weeks, I mean, you barely, you might as well have stayed home
Yeah,
because you're going really, you're gonna make enough just to make it like you was working a $20 an hour job, which
yeah,
isn't any fun after all your expenses. Now, some people have been benefiting from working from home,
yeah.
where they have to do the 7 to 6. I heard on one voicemail his office hours. I'm here from Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. I was like, dang, that's a lot of hours.
Yeah,
For me, I'm trying to only work 10 hours, like, well, no, maybe like 3 4 hours a day at most, 3 4 hours a day.
but here you go. They really got it easy right now. Because when I
Right.
got into the industry, we used to have to get up at like 5:36 in the morning. They wanted us on our first roof, really. Like when you talk to the true vets who was really making money,
Yeah.
you don't really talk to like a trainer. You talk to what they call a producer. Like you want to be a
Okay.
producer. You talk to that producer. That producer in Texas,
Yeah.
he on that first roof at 7 in the morning.
Dang.
He not getting back into his room until 7 o'clock in the afternoon to start
Wow.
his paperwork. And
Wow.
then by 1 o'clock, he's finished with the paperwork, prepped everything for the following day to do it all over again. And you do that for 30 days straight.
Mm.
Then you take your 1 or 2 days off after you do 30 days straight.
Wow.
Those are producers, and that's who I learned from. A
Okay.
lot of guys now don't want to do that.
Yeah,
A lot of guys
absolutely.
and girls, they don't want to put that type of work in. And like you said, when Irma hit, they brought in a bunch of new adjusters from who never knew nothing about it. They just heard you can make quick money.
Right.
And I made 175 in 3 weeks. And
Dang.
it was like, how can we do that? And I tell them what they need to do, but they never did
Man.
it.
So the skills, so like what would you say some of those skill sets are that somebody could obtain maybe starting at a roofing company?
So what they first could learn is product ID, right? So that's the one thing when I first started, I didn't know anything about product ID. I didn't know
Okay.
what hail looked like. I really didn't know what wind was. I didn't know what the roof components. And I used to be on the roof for like when I first started, literally an hour trying to
Okay.
find hail or wind and then I get in front of my computer. I don't know where to look at it and exactly make to find the boot jack. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? I don't even know what that is. That's really before everybody went to Google for everything. So
Right, right.
really learning product ID,
Okay.
knowing how to talk to a customer, and
Hmm.
just really being organized.
Hmm. And that product ID, you have to do that in person, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's kind of hard virtually.
yeah. And I learned. I promise. I tell everybody. I learned more from contractors who was willing when you could go out there, they're gonna find out real quick you're a rookie, right? Because
Yep.
you're going to come in with a big attitude and no, 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 because you're really covering up knowledge that you don't have. So you just, most adjusters come out saying no to everything because they're really covering up something.
Yep.
And a good roofer would catch on quick because he might just have casual conversation with you and be like, "Oh, this person knows," and you don't even know that he caught on. But I had a guy named Jack in Amarillo, Texas. He found out quick I was the new adjuster, and he took advantage of me at first,
Uh-huh.
but he started teaching me the game. He started
Okay.
teaching me product ID, teaching me how to measure siding, what this siding is called, Dutch lap and all everything else. He was teaching me stuff on the roof every time I met him, and but I learned a lot from roofers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely I love my contractors, especially like water mitigation or a trade like a plumber,
Yeah.
because you will learn a lot on how to repair. Like, oh, I didn't know that you had to like what type of flooring is that, or how do you smooth it out, and really just
Mhm.
going in asking questions of like how does that repair work. And when I was starting as a roofer, understanding, okay, well, a crease shingle versus matted. Like I never looked at roofs before I became a roofer. You
Yeah,
know, never. Now I can't not look at them.
exactly.
Drip edge and the soffit versus the fascia, which all of that is on the State Farm certification exam. No one being able to identify those materials. So, what would it be like working for you?
So with me coming to Paramount Roofing, the first thing we will teach you is how to be organized. Because trust me, you're gonna have to be organized to keep up with your customers. The next it would be the product ID, because I'm real big in educating. I'm not big in selling. We educate our customers, and by us educating our customers, we empower our customers now to make educated decision on who they want to go with. And by doing that, I win jobs at least 90% of the time. And I ask homeowners, why did you choose us over a company who's been around 25 years? They said, we like how you came with your presentation. We like how you didn't just try to sell us, and you taught us, and we're just teaching us step by step on how the claim process work. And that's why we went with you.
Yep, that's what we do as well. We love to teach. I had a guy today, busy young guy, and he had a water pipe break, and he's trying to get a hold of him to like, let's sit down with me on Zoom for just 20 minutes. I even sent him a video. It was only 12 minutes. He like, man, just try to sum it up. And I'm like, well, I can't really sum it up. I want to teach, but I'm like, well, I mean, why are you choosing me? You said you talked to other PAs. Why are you choosing me? He's like, well, because you come in different. Everybody else just came up and just looked at it. You talking about looking at the actual policy and educate, and so that's what I get too. Like people don't just want it to just be okay, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. They want to know everything. Here's a good question actually that we got from Christina Pantaleon.
Hmm.
What do IAs do to earn money when there aren't hurricanes or tornadoes, etc.?
There you go.
Yeah.
You want me to answer that?
Yeah, you first.
Okay, so like I said, if you're going to jump in this industry to really make money, you got to dedicate yourself. And one thing to do to dedicate yourself, where your firm will see that you are dedicated, is by how many number of licenses you have, right, for each state. Trust me, it's claims year round. If you got enough license, if you willing to travel, it's claims year round to keep you busy. Really, a hurricane is bonus.
Yeah.
We wasn't getting hurricanes every year like we getting it now. When I first got in the industry, first 7 years was no hurricane, but we
Wow.
had windstorms, we had
Okay.
hailstorms every year, we had backup in sewers, freeze. Then you had back then when I started, a rookie couldn't get daily claims because daily
Okay.
claims you at the house. They only gave those to veterans who could really work on their own without too much help. But now if you're a rookie, they give you daily claims to work from the house, and that's just everyday claims. You can stay busy. I literally stayed busy for 10 years straight, 10 months, 11 months out the year.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so for me, when I was trying to become an adjuster and there weren't any hurricanes, and I remember like trying to watch the Weather Channel, just praying that a hurricane was coming.
Yeah.
I worked for vendors like yourself, like Paramount Roofing, because I knew they were at least working the claims. I
Mhm.
also knew that I would pick up new knowledge from every single adjusting appointment that I set for myself. I mean, you have to go out and get yours so that you can be able to have more appointments. Because for me to set it up for somebody else, I mean, that's taken away from time that I could be working my own claim. So that's
Yeah.
why it's even with the videos, it's like, man, it's just taking way too much time. I want to do these lives and still be able to help people. But my thing is like, I got up on roofs. I was doing product identification.
Yep.
Um, I was carrying ladders, right? And then I was reading estimates. Oh, well, what's this? What's this mean? And I was actually seeing and understanding the process because, truthfully, before I got licensed, I knew nothing about insurance, let alone property insurance. I mean, I knew a little bit about the health insurance. I knew even less about car insurance. But you talk about business property or bot policies, or you speak about commercial policies, and then even what happens if you have a toilet overflow or a sub uh, pump backup. All
Yeah.
of that was very new to me, and that's when I was like, "Oh, my parents would be okay if something happened because they have insurance." But I mean, you gotta just even learn what it is that you're going to want to be working, not just hope you get the license and then you just are going to be adjusting claims. And they will send you out there though. Like if you go through a deployment, they will send you out there, but you're going to not know what to take a picture of. You may not
Yeah.
know what a hot water heater is versus the water tank. Like I mean, there's just different things that could go wrong. That was a
Yeah.
really great question.
Yeah, it was.
Question. Let's see if I have any more here. The licensing, some I always have, well, she asked one, but I always have people ask about licensing. Would you recommend, like, if somebody couldn't get to Texas and
Hmm.
they still wanted to get licensed, what would you recommend?
Now you can do it online. I don't think you even got to go to Texas anymore. I think he offers the class online.
Oh, okay, perfect. That's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
sweet. That's sweet. And so the two positions you're hiring for, can you remind me? I know we were talking about it early on.
So yeah, I'm looking for one more salesperson. So a salesperson really will go out there, find leads for themselves, right? And I offer 10% of the total claim. We do 99% of insurance claims. So if you bring me back a claim, a lead, and we close the deal and do the roof, and let's say the roof is $25,000, right? You make 10% of that. You make $2,500, and from that, you get paid the day the job go up. I don't let you wait
Oh,
until
nice.
you get the back end check because I know that could take a month, 2 months, 3 months. You get paid the day we put up the job, and
Wow.
I wait for the back end money. So that what makes me different from a lot of other roofing companies.
Yep.
And also, what we do is I'm looking for a canvasser. So a canvasser is a person is I give them a list. I got 10, 10 slots on there. They got to bring me back 10 leads, 10 good leads. So once you get that lead from that homeowner, you call me, I'm going to call the homeowner to set up the appointment. If they don't pick up, that's not a lead to me, right? If they
Okay.
pick up, we set the appointment, that's a lead. You get paid 150 for that, right?
Okay.
So that's what I consider a good lead. So you can't
Yep.
just get a bunch of numbers and they don't pick up and it's not a good lead. Or if I call and they say, I really didn't want an inspection, but I didn't want to say no to your canvasser, that's not a lead to me.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. They have to, yeah, they have to move somewhere, definitely. And having someone work with you is also great for the experience and the
Hmm.
resume builder too. Right? Just because if you coming from no industry to this, you can, look
Yeah.
at that too.
Yeah. If your goal is to be an adjuster, it would be great to come on with Paramount Roofing first because you're having really a guy who was a trainer, a manager who really could teach you the game of, like you said, the product knowledge. I could teach you the game of just, how to deal with customers, how not to let, even on this side, not to let something simmer too long on your desk. They say the longer the fish stay on the desk, the more stank you're going to get. Take care of it quick. That was the main rule as an adjuster because them hard, tricky ones, we want to shy away from those and take care of the easy ones. And
Yeah.
and then that one that you shied away from, now you got management involved, you got agents involved, but I teach you all of that. And you probably don't even want to be an adjuster after, dealing with Paramount Roofing with the money you can make. But at the same time, if that's your goal, start with us first and we can teach you a lot. It was all about education with Paramount Roofing.
Yeah, the other great thing was starting with the roofing. It allows a lot more flexibility because you not only set your own hours, but if what I was doing when something did come up, I talked to my team and I'm able to go work out of the Carolinas as an adjuster and then still come back to something steady because
Yeah.
that's the one thing that like I've been to deployments where people quit their jobs to get there, drove the 13 hours thinking that it was going to last, and they were sent home within 6 days.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have something come back steady. And also, too, I'm not a 7 to 7 type of worker. I just really like being able to have my free time. Like, time is understandable now versus where you just had to like punch in and go to work. So that's why I like really enjoyed the flexibility that working at a roofing company also brought too.
Yeah. And if you do get called out, because I had some adjusters that work with me, even if you get called out to a storm event, I'm still gonna pay you for your job, that the leads that you brought in. So
Right.
that's
Right.
really gonna help you out there when you sitting in the hotel, knowing when I call you, I'm about to wire you $1,500 or $2,000 from this job.
Yeah, because once the faucet opens, it pours down, and you be like, man, I'm getting call after call after call after call. And the
Yes.
best thing to do too is if you brand yourself before the deployments, you
Yes.
might be in New Jersey and you have customers calling you in
Yes.
order to say, oh shoot, I remember you stopped by or your company, nothing was going on then, but I'd be happy to talk to you now because I had something. So I get calls like that from 2, 3 years ago. You forget that they even had you, but they definitely saved your number because you made an impression.
That's right. And then, like I said, we're a small company. It's just me and two other guys. And like I said, we did 1.5 last year and we did close to
Wow.
two this year. And that's how, like I said, only looking for one person. I don't want a big group, right? I'm just looking for
Okay.
one more person, one more canvasser. And once we find that, we're just going to just create this like a family. And like I said, if you venture off and you got to go to a storm, just know you got a job when you come back, and all your leads that you got, you still gonna get paid on them.
Right, 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 which is wonderful. And then, and one of the reasons we got together too was if something for what I do is I'm helping on the back end. If you ever have something that goes denial
Mm-hmm.
from the insurance company, and that's kind of how I even reached out, and we got to speaking about your past experience. But I'm happy that you were able to come and educate us on who you are and what you do in Paramount Roofing. And I think, like for me, I just think that's one of the best opportunities because you can start right away. Now, you're in what city? Like, where is your office like located? What areas do you work?
Yeah, so we're in Douglasville, Georgia,
Okay.
but we work all over Atlanta. I get calls from Peachtree City to up to Ackworth, everywhere. So because I brand and market myself. But one thing I learned when I got into this industry, you
Hmm.
can hustle all you want, but if you don't have a brand, if you don't really put your money in marketing, you're just gonna be door knocking. And but we get a bunch of calls every day, so we are all over. And like I said, we willing to bring on one sales guy, one canvasser.
Okay, awesome. Now that was fun. Everybody in the audience, did y'all have fun? So I hope you did. The delay is just a little bit of a delay, but people may start chiming in on that. Now we did have time for 4 questions, and I was trying to keep them related to the job. So we'll move on. But I appreciate your time, Otis. Any final words?
Nah, you can follow me on Instagram with Paramount Roofing and Consulting. You can follow me on Facebook, Paramount Roofing and Consulting. You can email me at ParamountRoofing35@gmail.com if you're interested. And one thing I gotta say, man, there's so much money out here for everybody to make. Let's
Yeah.
all get it.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this channel is because some people will just try to discourage you. But your company did close to 2 million. And I know Best Choice Roofing, when I was there, they were doing about what y'all was doing. So I know
Right.
it's a big area and it's a lot out there. And congratulations to you guys on your success.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll be in touch, Otis. I'm gonna get this all wrapped up and everything like that. But I appreciate you. I'll reach out to you later this week.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Bye.